Yeah.
What you do? I don't want to go well, your woman told you beg or water you buy you told I know that you're moving for the community now.
I'm really long shit.
The way I was really told you without equal,
But you're
going to anonymous state.
You're going where?
Oh, Maleka to anonymous state.
That's been a good year. Because me, I said so, man. And my cousin in America, he had her Doma festival. So she said, when they put a corona for the festival, when they go in there, they must carry things, you know, for the children then. So I was said to myself, all my boss are there. I want to remember the watch that now you know watch it.
And they say you must carry anti so that water I can afford. That's why I carry the water that lasts.
You know what I mean? We on the roof. You can pack anything and no more than you. You're full of things that let me explain to you. The woman called me, I was saying, that one never explain to you. The woman called me, the woman explained to me already. Dating your tour, that Marka will be having, they get someone trying to call the hard table festival, Domo festival. The hard table Domo festival. They can have it every year in Myean, America. They can have it every year. So she said she's having it in America. All the people that will be going there. Because the other festival is special. They will be celebrating the same year. Because I say 5 years now, they celebrate. So the year back, they want to celebrate it. So everybody that will be going there to that Domo festival. They're talking about people that we in America. They're talking about you all are here in abroad. But if I get a visa to go to America. So they do what they want in America. They put away America. They don't want to carry all those small things to carry the war. They carry it to her for us to use it because she's going to come to Liberia to have the same program here. Now when she's having it here now, all the children are going, but all the children will the people. So when you get in the copy book, you carry Torgbean, you carry children clothes, children shoes, you know, small more things than what children can use. You carry, then she will pack everything and bring it like bro. She share it on the children then.
And you share it free.
She will share it free. No, she will share it free. She said no. She had the other one carry it to her free. That she will carry like bro. She do all the things. She share it free on the children like bro. She won't help children. She also say you must pack your thing and go carry it.
Participation too.
I know.
So other that we are in anonymous state will be doing it.
The thing here, it will be happening in Maryland, in America. So Black Hill Regional Park, that it will be happening here. You know, where about we don't get and they call it country cook. But the American people, they just change the name now. You know, yeah. So that one body can call it hard table festival. Yeah.
So what you want to do?
Yeah.
So my people are here, you're here in America, you're listening to it. Good. Yeah. The other thing I want to know,
Now, what is it? The date is August 9. I'm having the hard table festival. August 9.
I read out of my birthday.
Yeah.
Marka will be having her Domo festival. And in that Domo festival, and then everybody that going there, you're pretty everything to donate to what so that you can come and donate to the children of Liberia. Big yo.
When they come in Liberia, now we have to share things. They will put the children in the boat, they go for boat ride. Small children, they put in, they will take boat ride. They've been doing boat ride, they share the thing and all that. The children will enjoy. I praise them for me to tell small again.
Yeah, this is the 5 year Domo festival. So we encourage you to keep.
So that so that go back home now. You carry that thing back home.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Friday edition of the closing argument. Today is Friday. We are going to do basically like a week in review, current events, sports, family, and a little joke here and there. We gotta keep our sense of humor. We have to be real human beings. We're going to talk about family, not just all politics. Obviously, politics is going to be the core. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 13th day of June. Half of the year is gone. We are actually into the second half already. That 6 months is gone. Look at it like the second half. Share the show. Get involved. Send your comments. Call in. Today we're going to relax the rules a little bit. We'll have you call in and talk about some of the issues you've been seeing on the closing argument since Monday. But today we're going to start with the weather as we have always done. Let's check out the weather because there are some counties that we are going to be talking about today. We're going to go to the county. We want to see what's happening around the country. So we are going to look at the different county news, what's happening in the different counties. We scout the different newspapers. We scan them and we see what are some of the topics. And that's what we are bringing to you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. We are going to be talking about 4 counties today. The counties are Bong County, Maryland County, Nimba County, Lofa County, and then Bong. So let's start with Bong County. I think Bong County has a special place in our heart because we've been discussing Bong County this week. That terrible school you saw was in Bong County, District number 7. Representative Famule, that's his district. Today, Mr. Famule did something in Bong County we're talking about. Before we go to that, let me look at the weather in Bong County today. According to our weather station here in Miami, Florida, it says Bong County today we see the high of 76 degrees and light rain. It will be raining or it has rained a little bit in Bong County. That's Bong County. Then we are going to go to Mr. Victor Nambe's Maryland County. The weather in Maryland County today is 80 degrees and cloudy. Then we're going to go to Nimba. The weather in Nimba is 76 degrees and also cloudy. And we're going to end up in Lofa, the home of the president. The weather in Lofa is 74 degrees and mostly cloudy. So let's start with our homeboy, Mr. Famula. What's happening in Bong County? And today is the 13th of June. And this is being reported by Selma Lomax of Front Page Africa. It says Representative Famula donates $2,500 to boost free surgical outreach in Bong Mines. This is a man whose schools are falling apart. No seats for kids to sit. It's in a dilapidated form. It's in a brick, like we say, a mud brick house. No windows, no chalks, no blackboards, no seats. But he's giving $2,500 to boost free surgical outreach in Bong County. Mr. Family, you're doing something to grab the front pages of the newspapers. You need to do more $2,500 means absolutely nothing. Go and renovate those schools, buy a desk, buy a chair, hire teachers, buy blackboards, and let the children learn and let the children play. That's what you need to do. That's Bong County. And this is what it says about Bong County here. Thousands, 1,500 United, 2,500 United States dollars were donated by Mr. Famula, Honorable Famula, to support the upcoming quarterly surgical outreach in Bong County at Bong Myean Hospital. They move on to say, the financial support was presented to Dr. Freeman, the lead medical officer in charge of the outreach initiative, and is intended to ensure that the program is fully equipped with the drugs, surgical tools, and other critical medical material required for safe and effective procedure. This is Mr. Famula's gesture to the folks in Bong County through the hospital in Bong Myean. Give them $2,500. And for that $2,500, he expects for the folks to buy medication, buy medical tools, and other critical medical material needed $2,500 to support an entire hospital, to buy medical equipment, tools, surgical supplies, and medicine for surgery. That's Honorable Famula's way of giving back to his people, $2,500. Let's go to Victor Namwe's hometown, or home county, Maryland County. Maryland County Representative Williams calls for staff salary adjustment, seeks broader dialogue on foreign scholarships. That's Mr. Williams, representative from Maryland County. Speaking recently at the Capitol, Representative Williams emphasized the critical role staffers play in the daily operation of the legislature and call on his colleagues to prioritize their welfare. These are the people, he said, who make our work possible: drafting communication, conducting research, and managing our offices. They deserve fair compensation for their efforts, Mr. Williams said. In addition to advocating for improved conditions for staff, the Maryland County lawmaker also called for a national conversation around the allocation and management of foreign scholarship. Mr. Williams, I salute you. This is a great gesture. There is no way you should be making $20,000 a month and your staffers make $250. So I give it to you. Hopefully, this is not just a facade. Hopefully, this is really what you mean, and you will advocate on behalf of the poor staffers on the Hill that they can get paid at least something, a decent work, decent pay. That has to happen. I want to congratulate you. It's a great step. We will follow up and see whether this is a charade or you mean it. And how many of your colleagues have you convinced to come on your side? We'll look at that sometime next week or the week that follows. Let's go to Nimba County. AML, Metal, affected community reject Senator Nyen's stance on the new MDA, urge him to stop politicizing the concession and the concession agreement. These are the folks that have been affected directly in Nimba County. They're telling the senator, stop playing politics with our lives. It reads, Nimba County Senator Nyen D. Twain Jr. has come under serious criticism from citizens of Metal Steel affected communities in Nimba County. The concession area have asked Nimba County, Mr. Armstrong Gobek Silikpo has been a strong critic of AML and has led more than 20 protests against the company's operation in the county. Currently, Goba sees the operation of the county from another angle. He believes all the things he protested for in the past and being addressed by the company, and at this point, it is only fair that the company remain in line with its agreement with the government and the people of Liberia and provide the needed jobs. And he asked the lawmakers to make the necessary input when the amendment agreement reaches them for ratification. Mr. Senator Nyenwolo Jr., you are on the wrong side. You have not read the agreement. You have not done any constituent visits. You have not consulted with the neighborhoods. You have not consulted with the community, and you are praising a sort of metal steel. Shame on you, Mr. Senator. Your folks are not happy. They are sleeping in containers. They are sleeping in 110, 105 degree heat, and you saying you want to support this company without due diligence. Mr. Nyenwolo, shame on you. Let's go to Lofa County. Lofa County, your weather today is 74 degrees, mostly cloudy. This is good news for Liberians. This is good news for Liberia. This was from the Front Page Africa newspaper, and this was from a staff writer. When they say staff writer, you don't know who wrote it. So we have to take it for what it is. The people in Lofa County have to authenticate this story. They have to let us know whether this is true or not. But this is what it says. Major power grid nearing completion in Lofa County. I know during the past administration, they were doing all of this work. We want to make sure that it is almost complete, as they said. And it reads, Vanjima, Lofa County, the Rural and Renewable Energy Agency, PREA, is on the cusp of significantly boosting electricity access in Lofa County with its ambitious power generation and distribution initiative reaching nearly 99% completion on its initial phase. The PREA announced it has almost finished installing 1.8 megawatts diesel generator, along with essential transformers and fuel storage systems in Bawala village, just outside of Vanjima. This marks a critical step towards establishing a robust energy network for the region. The next phase, set to begin in July, specifically July 1st, 2025, in 2 weeks, involve the installation of 4 megawatt solar PV, a module coupled with 9 megawatts of battery energy storage system, BESS, also located on the outskirts of Vanjima. The hybrid approach combining solar power and battery storage with the diesel generators will form the backbone of Lofa County's energy supply. If this is true, this is great news for the Republic of Liberia. This is great news for the folks in Lofa. And we want to thank the government for continuing a major project in the Republic of Liberia that started under the previous administration or administrations. That is what is going on in your local counties. Monday, we are going to go further and deal with the other counties. We will bring you up to speed what's happening in Grand Bassa, what's happening in Monserrato, what's happening in Magibie, and what's happening in Riverside County. So is the end of our county news. Now let's go to the daily news, current event, what's happening in Liberia. What is it that you want to listen to? What is it that interests you besides politics? What is it that interests you besides politics? As for Liberia, everything is politics. Politics. In fact, there was a gentleman that used to come on the show. He would say, man, you guys are killing the show. You're talking about everything else except what we want to listen to. He doesn't want to listen to the weather. He doesn't want to listen to what's going on in the different counties. He doesn't want to know whether Lofa County is getting electricity. He doesn't want to know whether roads is being built in Bassa. All he wants to know is who is being arrested, who is going to jail, or who are fighting in the house. That's not what the closing argument is all about. The closing argument is all of those things plus more. It's about family. It's about education, academic peace. It's about current event and also international news, what's happening around the world. As we speak today, last night, the state of Israel attacked Iran and hit several facilities, including the nuclear facilities, and killed most of the top military experts. And we just learned that about 5 of the top nuclear scientists were taken out. And in a few hours ago, according to Israel Emergency Services, at least 34 people were injured when Iran sent several ballistic missiles their way. While the dome, the military system, the air defense system was able to knock those things out of the air, the shrapnels, that is when the missiles break up in the air, they break out into many pieces. And those pieces also are dangerous when they fall on you or fall on folks, fall on cars, fall on homes. And we are seeing that as well. So yes, we are interconnected. What happens around the world affects you, affects everybody. Iran is an oil producing country. If some of the oil rigs are knocked offline, that will raise the prices of gasoline and fuel, and it will affect everybody around the world, including Liberia. So yes, whatever happens outside the world also has an impact on what happens to us in Liberia. Now let's go to current event. We are going to be talking about everything today, but let's talk about today what is on the menu. Today, the 13th of June, 2025, on the front page of the newspaper, it says that discretion or denial of rights. George Willie withhold approval of bond for Capitol building arson defendants. Is it a judge's discretion or the judge is playing politics? These folks have been in jail for a long time. Whatever they are charged with is a billable offense. They were able to post their bill. The judge used his discretion and denied them a bill a while back. Today, they were able to post their bill, and the judge denied them, not based on any legal action, but according to them, his own discretion. So the newspaper heading is, discretion or denial of citizens' rights. Basically, that's what it is. George Willie, and Reese. Monrovia, Criminal Code A, George Roosevelt Willie, is yet to approve the criminal appearance bond submitted on behalf of Tom Edrich and several co-defendants accused of setting fire to the Capitol building. They were accused of setting fire to the Capitol building. They were arrested, incarcerated, according to the laws. And they were able to post their bail according to the law. And according to the law, they should be free. But the judge, Criminal Code A, Roosevelt Willie, single-handedly, unilaterally, without regards to the law of the land, denied their right bills. And again today, he said he used his own discretion. The judge, not following the laws, the Constitution, he said he is doing it by himself. It can be recalled that Edrich and the others were arrested, detained, and forwarded to court following their alleged involvement in the arson incident. Initially held at the Monrovia City Prison, the defendants were later transferred to Kakata Central Prison. The arrest coincided with the police investigation involving the Speaker J. Fonati Kofa and Representative Abu Kamara, Jacob Debbie, and Dixon Sibo. On Tuesday, the defendant team filed a consolidated criminal appearance bond on behalf of all the accused in accordance with the Liberian law. However, George Willett isn't yet to approve the bill, effectively prolonging the detention of the defendant, despite what legal experts describe as a presentation of sufficient surety bond. Article 21I of the 1986 Constitution of Liberian states, all accused persons shall be bailable upon sufficient security. The judges in action have triggered constitutional concerns, with legal analysts and human rights advocates questioning whether the delay stems from judicial discretion or constituent or a denial of due process and the fundamental rights of bail. There are increasing calls for the judiciary to act to prevent what some describe as the arbitrary withholding of human rights. Critics warn that any such delay undermines the rule of law and threatens the constitutional guarantees afforded to all accused persons, regardless of their affiliation. Welcome to the young folks, Mr. Myean. Oh no, you just got here. Welcome, Mr. Victor Nyenwolo.
Hey, Mr. Gamer, it is good to be joining you this Friday afternoon here on the East Coast. Let me say hello to our audience. Thanks for joining us. Please share the show. Invite a friend and, come on, join us.
We will be taking calls. We'll be hearing from you because these topics are hot. Obviously, today is Friday, so we're going to be doing a week in review. We are going to go all the way back to Monday and all the stories that have affected you. If you just, for some reason, if you missed one, you can join us. We'll read it in your comment. You can call. We'll take. Let me go to our reporter on the ground. Myean, how you doing there, young man?
I'm doing good, and you, Mr. Gamer?
Actually, I am doing exceedingly well, and I'm grateful.
That's good. That's good. How is the United States?
Well, I'm in the state of Florida, the best state that anybody wants to live in. You know, I'm in Miami, so the real Miami, and I'm feeling good. Everything is nice. My soccer team tomorrow, the June 14th, the World Club Soccer Club tournament starts in Miami. 34 top nations around the world. The top club from 31 nations will be assembling. They are here already in Miami, and it kicks off tomorrow. The game that most people want to see is Inter Miami and Real Madrid. And then Real Madrid and Manchester City. So we got some big games. Mr. Namba, if you have time, fly down here. Let's go see some of the games. Let's go see Messi. Messi is here.
You know, the Meriwether State, they say, yes, it's Florida. You know, I haven't really been. I mean, except for, you know, transiting through, I think I may have gone through, anyway, I have gone through a couple of states. The last time I was on my way to Jamaica, we made a stop over. But yeah, they tell me Florida is a very, very good place to be if you are from the tropical weather as we are. So yes, kudos to you. But I don't know if I want to be sharing the street with gators. You know, if I want to be sharing the streets with snakes. You know, if I want to be clapped on by gators while I'm going down to the market. I don't know. But yeah, I understand the games are about to start. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, the World Cup is coming here. The East Coast will be hosting some of it in Jersey.
Yeah.
As well as in Philadelphia, you know, on the East Coast here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. In the meantime, enjoy the games. I'm not sure. This is summertime. You know, you never know. I might just pop in there and come in there and spend a weekend. I'll let you know.
Beautiful, beautiful. Myean, who is the team? I mean, I was hoping I'm a Barrow fan. I'm hoping Barrow will be here, but Barrow is even relegated in our own Liberia. So what's going on, Myean? Talk to me. What team are you rooting for here? We got 34 teams coming. My Barrow is not there. My IE is not there. My Best Star is not. I mean, we got to do something to make sure that Barrow comes and play Manchester City. Barrow should be playing Man U. Barrow should be playing Real Madrid. But what happened to Barrow? Myean, what happened to the mighty Barrow? What's happening? What's going on?
So nowadays the old folks are now pushing the game like they used to do when they were still young. So the young people are still pushing another game because the young folks know that they are coming in, so they need to bring another team that will be able to wake up the spirit of I and Barrow those days. So they are not carrying that same name or that same forces that they used to carry back in the days where the old folks they had I and Barrow and say I and Barrow playing them. That's a big game. But nowadays people see Chelsea, Madrid, Manchester City, Liverpool to be one of the big games. Yeah. When we see Chelsea and that's Barca and Madrid playing, we say El Clasico because that's the two tough team we have right now. So people don't focus on I and Barrow like those days where people have the opportunity to go sit on the field, watch a game. So we consider our days to be old school days. So they are focusing, they are focusing on the new era where they are seeing so many young players, so many young folks in the soccer arena.
But Myean, before you go there, let me ask you this. It only came to my attention, I think yesterday when we were discussing, you know, the former president of WIA and of course James Salazar Deba. I understand when he was coaching the national team, he admitted that we just don't have the caliber of players, meaning Liberia, to ever make a run for a World Cup bid. Do you think that still holds today? We don't have the kind of players.
We have players in Liberia, to be real. We have players, and something I would like to tell you, we have so many experienced players within Liberia. But one of the things that we see is that we don't have people that are supporting that game. Because nowadays, when you go on a football field, you will see young players like on the age of 11, 12. You see that skill in them. They are playing the ball, but no one's there to support that game. Like this current time, we heard that FIFA president Mustafa Raji was in the southeastern part, where he went on the field picking out players for the Honor 17 league. So I think that's how it should be, because we have so many talented players who have the passion, who have the dream for the game, but just like no one there to help. Like people thought the former president was going to set that record, because the former president, who have won so many awards for football, could just hold maybe 10 or 15 players from Liberia, carry them to any country, put them on a team, and no one tell you say no, the person can play. Just with that record that he have set over the past year, over his whole career, because he spent most of his life in football. So with that, I think if he take a player from Liberia to go and train, to come back in the country to help develop the sporting arena, I think it was necessary. But people never see anything from him. So people were very, very dissatisfied with that idea, most especially young people, because nowadays we see people are having a passion for the football, but no support. If you come in like, bro, you open a team, say, oh, we need people to justify, we're taking 10 players from here to carry in China or to carry in Europe. You see a lot of people, over 30 or 100 players who come just to justify, to show how passionate they are for the game.
Right.
So I think it is necessary that people who are out there, Liberians, because we see some Liberians are passing through other countries just to show their talent. They are naturalizing themselves in other countries just to push that game, because our country is not supporting them. So some of them are going France, going Nigeria, going Ghana, just to play the game, so I can be able to come on the spotlight.
Yeah. That's a good point you make. I mean, a lot of us thought that's what the county meet, for instance, was supposed to help do, to showcase, the talent of our young and upcoming, players here in the States. Here, Jerome, the collegiate, sports is where, most of these professional teams go to recruit, whether it's basketball, college football, college soccer, So I thought, since we don't have a robust collegiate, sports program, the county meet would have served that purpose, where our scouts will go and recruit people. But like man is saying, it's always support. Even the people here will tell you, if you don't get the necessary support to your program, you don't compete well, you don't do well, because training is very expensive. Preparation is very expensive, before you can get to the glory.
Well, unfortunately for Liberia and the third world country, my son all my kids play basketball up to high school. 2 of them play college ball. And the whole while, they went to academies, they went to training. They were all private.
Yeah.
The government had nothing to do with it. If you want your child to excel in basketball, you put him in basketball camp. You look around the country, find out where the best camps are. You send your child to the camp. And then, scouts go to these camps to recruit these young folks. That's how it works. So let's say President George Weah, if he has resources, which we know he has, he can open a basketball camp, or basketball camps, or basketball academy, or football academy, soccer academy, all around the country. And this is where you call other scouts from around the world to come and see what you have. It is at these academies that the scouts come and watch these kids and say, okay, this guy is good. This guy is good. Can he try out for this team? Can he try out for this academy? But it would depend on just the government to do this. It would be almost impossible, because the government have never done anything right. Government cannot do anything right. So if the government cannot manage our own budget, how can they manage thousands of young kids? So that's what we are talking about. Anyway, that's sport. Myean, and let me go through. We wanted to not concentrate just on Monrovia. So today we decided to visit the different counties and see what headlines are going in the different counties. And it turned out that your county, Maryland County, the weather in Maryland is great today. It's 80 degrees and cloudy though. But here it is. One of your representatives made a headline. Look at his picture. I think you know this guy.
Is that Williams?
Williams.
I think that's the guy who unseated
Yes,
Buffer
the
Timor, former
Buffer
speaker of
Timor.
Buffer Timor.
Buffett, yeah, he the guy who dethroned Buffett Timor, yeah.
Maryland County Representative Williams calls for staff salary adjustment.
You know go ahead, Jerome. Sorry, go ahead.
Seeks broader dialogue on foreign scholarships. The whole scheme in the House he's talking about, and this guy sometimes he sounds like a fool sometimes, but this one he's right on the money. And it says here, speaking recently at the Capitol, Representative Williams emphasized the critical role staffers play in the daily operation of the legislature and called on his colleagues to prioritize their welfare. These are people who make our work possible, drafting communications, conducting research, and managing our offices. They deserve fair compensation for their efforts. I think this is when we are talking and criticizing lawmakers, people think we are just talking heads that sit here and all we do is criticize. But this is, if he's serious, this is a great initiative, and I think, Mr. Nyenwolo, you should be proud of this young man. He's doing something that we have been talking about, and equal pay, equal wage. I mean, you got to have a livable wage bill. If this man is earning you $20,000 a month, why pay him $125? It makes no sense. At least $500 minimum plus benefits. That's a livable wage, but not $125. Well, your take on I know you're bloating because Maryland County is in the news for a positive reason.
My boy Williams in the news. No, that's true. I think that was laudable. But you know, I listened to him. I listened to Duncan from Sino, people like him. You know, it's a good thing that they're doing, but I think the solution really should start with them. You know, they are part of the reason why some of these people are paid the way they are being paid, because they're sucking everything out of the coffers. So, you know, and I think it's a good call, but I don't know. I didn't read the article, so I don't know the details. But what I understand is the total amount of money that they're making is the sum total of what is supposed to be paid to some of their legislative staffers, people who work in their office. So I don't know exactly who he's talking about. But in any case, yes, I mean, a living wage is something, you know, all here in the States, you know, minimum wage here is every night, then they adjust it, you know. So yes, our people, I think if they're working this hard, they should be afforded, you know, a living wage, you know. But we have the working poor in Liberia. The majority of people, they're working, and yet, you know, they can't make ends meet. And because of what you're saying, it is obvious what you're paying them is never sufficient to make ends meet for them. And so while they're working, it's as if they are not working. So I agree with him. But before I pass it on to you, before I forget, you know, old head. Today is the birthday of my friend Glendy. You know, Glendy is my Cotton girl. She's over on Spoon Network and other places, but you know, she is one of those people who will always recognize others on their, you know, on their natal day or when there's something good is happening in their life. She calls herself the lawyer's daughter. You know, she is Bayoga Jr.'s daughter, your boy Bayoga. So happy birthday to my friend Glendy Jr. Hope you're having a good time, my girl. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Glendy. You are a great woman. You come from great stock. Your father was a great man. He began as the county attorney for Grand Bassa County, and he worked his way up all the way to the Supreme Court. Great guy.
So Niji people are great people. Okay.
Well, yeah, we always great. When you're from outside Bassa, you're good, but you're not great.
Not great.
So the rest of the story goes like this. In addition to advocating for improved conditions for staff, the Maryland County lawmaker also called for a national conversation around the allocation of management of foreign scholarships. Adding to Williams's, Liberia has long benefited from international educational partnerships, but the lack of transparency and coordination around scholarship opportunities often leave qualified students behind. And he went on to say he proposed the establishment of a legislative committee or collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to track and publicize all scholarship opportunities to everyone. Representative William Cummings amid ongoing public discourse about equitable access to education and the need for civil service reform across the government. This young man is getting somewhere. I think he might be stepping on some toes. Because when the quality education scholarship comes, because it is done in the darkness, all kinds of people wind up on it, except the qualified students that have worked themselves to death, almost to death. So I think Mr. Williams is going somewhere here that not only should it be transparent, but it should be well coordinated between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. When the scholarship comes, it shouldn't just stay at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and their children, or the Ministry of Education and the top hierarchy, but it should be transparent enough to have the Ministry of Information involved, let the whole country know what's happening, and let it be a fair, open competition. What you think this young man is going with this?
No, I mean, I think what he's saying there is really welcome. Look, I'm a beneficiary of scholarship myself. I went to Kaduna. My late sister now, she passed I think 2 or 3 years ago. And the husband, Joseph Gia, he lives here in East Orange now, West Orange. He worked for Firestone then, and I tried LU. I was having difficulty getting in. We had come from the student Ujamaa Brigade that gave the student Euro movement hell at Tottenham High School. And so we had reason to believe that the director of testing, Peter Jansen, so the group of us, yes, the list of W. Sabwa, Edward Farley, and a number of us, we tried. And my sister said, hey, try Kaduna. And I said, yeah, but we can't afford it. So they say, yeah, go there, we'll try. So I went there, and obviously I started struggling. And I went to the Ministry of Education. A friend of mine said to me, try Peter Gao. Peter Gao was the minister at the Ministry of Education. He was in charge of scholarship. And Peter, I met Peter. We're coming from JFK, and I'll keep it short. We were walking. We used to live here, a bunch of us, high school days, man. We were just rooming together, a bunch of us. And one of my friends, Steve Willie, he was working at the foreign ministry. He said, Peter, you know Peter? He said, Peter, this guy always a smart guy. He said he got his letter of acceptance from Kaduna. He got money. Peter was sitting in front of his girlfriend, drinking beer. Peter said, come to the ministry tomorrow. Let me see what you got. I thought he was joking. I didn't go for a week. He sent for me. He said, I told you to come. So I went there. He said, go bring. I submitted my letter. The next thing you know, I was on. But of course, I had to justify the scholarship because you got to earn a B average. Mm-hmm. But that scholarship was giving you, I think, 80 or 85% of your fees plus the money for books. So at the end, I was paying only 20 or so % from pocket. That's what my sister on. And I had that thing for over 2 years. So I understand exactly what it means. Scholarship, is an equalizer for those of us who come from poor background who cannot afford it. It gives you a leg up, to gives you access to good education. So I think what the honorable is talking about, I really appreciate the fact that he's lifting that. I think he's right. There has to be some kind of monitoring of it. Most of it used to be at the Ministry of Education. That used to be the central location. Various agencies, countries, and other places will give the scholarship to the ministry, and they set the criteria, for deserving students. And yes, and people, a lot of people have benefited from those. So I agree with him. I think they probably need to tighten the screws a little bit and make it more transparent and make it more available to needy students. I was telling you over the weekend, we were in Minnesota, the Kehleboe and Sister Nights in the Americas. We approved some funding for at least 5 students of the Cali school from elementary to junior to high school and on to college, and there are lots of people I know are doing that. The Barrow people, organization I belong to, we do the same thing, and yeah, it is a good way to help a lot of people because these people, the more educated the people are, the better off the country will be. Talking about a lot of people coming back to contribute. So I hail the honorable man, even though I will insist that they should audit the legislature, and I will have this on my name tag for as long as it's going to take. There's a lot of filth in the Capitol building. We need to take it out. So while I appreciate what he's saying, I hope he will support the call to audit the legislature.
Excellent. Now let's go to one of our favorite people. We headed to Bond County. I think we were in Bond County yesterday. We were talking about one of the best looking schools in Bond County under the leadership of Honorable Famula. So Bond County Representative Famula donated $2,500 to boost free surgical outreach in Bond Mines. This is the gentleman whose district school doesn't even have, I don't know whether they call it school or whatever they call that. He has the audacity to go donate $2,500 for surgical surgery, something that would give him a headline instead of going to his school and fixing his school, renovating his school, buying desks, buying chairs. He's donating money where Bond Mines, where he can be in the news. Shame on Mr. Famula. This is Mr. Famula here. And it says, Honorable Famula donated $2,500 US to support upcoming quarterly surgical outreach at Bond Mines. I get with mice and shit, you know, the big thing that happens and everybody want to be is a photo of. So he donated $2,500. He said the financial support was presented to Dr. Freeman, the lead medical officer in charge of the outreach initiative, and is intended to ensure that the program is fully equipped with drugs, surgical tools, and other critical medical material required for and the effective procedure to be done in Bond Mines. Can you imagine? For $2,000, he wanted to buy equipment, buy tools, buy medication, you name it. This is Mr. Famula, your take. That's our Bond Mine brother.
Yeah, you know, the young man, I don't know him at all, but I've listened to him on various airwaves here and there trying to defend, you know, the hostile takeover of the speaker position, the so-called 43. You know, he seems like a pretty educated guy, you know, but, you know, I think he's in a hurry to get nowhere. You know, and in the process, it looks like he's neglecting a lot of the, you know, the little details in that he needs to take care of. I am not sure if he was even aware of this school's existence in his district until Mr. Rogers brought it to light. And what he's doing there is the equivalent of, I know there is a technical term for it, but he's trying to step on the news of the school that came, the news of the school that came out of Foreman district, you know, Panapa to be precise. You know, and so he's trying to blunt it out and come up with this, but you know, yeah, what is that really going to buy? I don't know, but I think he really needs to take this situation seriously, the situation with the school. I know it is not his responsibility, but he is the representative of the people. He is their voice. He needs to champion their cause. He needs to make sure that the Ministry of Education addresses, you know, the non-existence of school in his district. That thing we saw in the video doesn't qualify for even a pigsty. You can't put your chicken, you can't put your pig in there, and yet our young kids are going to sit in there and, you know, look, all of these things add up to the education. The feeling alone, it's not just, you know, it's not just the you know, the book, but the atmosphere, all of that, you know, the healthy atmosphere, you know, the ambience, all of that helps, you know, to build a healthy mind. How can we allow our kids to sit down in these kind of things and structures and call them school building? So yeah, I hope, you know, thank him for the donation. I mean, I'm not going to say it's you know, it's unwelcome, but I think he needs to really find a way to bring relief to these people in that district. That is his job, to find a way to bring them relief. He should advocate for them. That's what he's supposed to do. So I hope he's taking notice of what is happening back there. I'm sure he has heard. I haven't heard him react to this. So he's making this donation. I hope it's an attempt, you know, to step on this news coming out of his district.
Well, I want to push back. You know, I hear people in Liberia always say, it is not the representative's job to build schools, not his job to do this. His job is oversight. But I got news for you. A friend of mine who is a representative here, only a state representative. She's in Tallahassee. She was able to bring Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, and she donated $40 million at the lower community college here for all first-time minority, Black and Hispanic, first-time college goers. If your parents have never gone to college before, this is a free. You got free education. Boys and girls, doesn't matter. You got free education. Then she turned around and she was able to get allocation for our lagoon. We got another $10 million to clean up the lagoon and all of that. Then she got another $5 million to get rid of all the old homes that have septic tank. Put them online, so they're getting rid of rooting all these septic. This is the work of a representative. This is for, they got a big pot of money in Tallahassee. Everybody going to fight for that district. What do you want? You say I want from a school. That's what they do. It's their job. It's not only oversight.
Yeah.
You go out there to fight to better your district.
Yeah.
If it's school, you name it, they do it. Even Boys and Girls Club, we're fortunate to get, I think, like 100,000, but it's sneaked 100,000 for early reading program. They call it early reading. So when the kids get out of, before they go to preschool, before they go to kindergarten at 5, they start learning how to read at 3 years old. That is an initiative that this woman put in place.
Yeah.
So,
and you make a point. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't cut you off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this is I mean, I don't know. I cannot count to you on one hand, how many of our legislators, like you're talking about, actually come out of Liberia and go to other parts to see. Everybody wants to get the help through the budget. Everybody wants to get relief through the budget. Everything through the budget. But yeah, like you're saying, these people can come out here, and this is why we're telling them, start tempering with the rule of law, stop scaring people away. You have to make the place conducive and attractive for people to want to come. But yeah, you can get out there and build a sister city with with some of these cities, these little poor cities for the US here, they are rich for our setting. You come and build a relationship with these people. And some of the things you're talking about, maybe just one little middle school could have taken care of that whole school district you're talking about. Just building a relationship. But they don't get out and go to hustle. But you're right, yes. It doesn't have to, they don't have to hustle in Liberia. You come out here, even the Liberia Association is here. There are a lot of people here who are willing to help. There are a lot of people here. The last time my school district, we had so many books we were giving away. There are lots of ways people can help here. I know a lot of Liberian associations. I work for Yola. We can go out there and find for you. But when you're talking to people, they themselves, they're researching you. They're looking at your country and they say, oh, wait a minute. These people just removed the speaker illegally. These people here, you go in there. There's no guarantee you sign a document with them. They will respect it. You have to make sure, you got to take care of these little things. But they need to come out here and hustle. But, they shouldn't expect everything to come through the budget. We already don't have it, and yet everybody wants a piece of the national budget. I don't think that's where the relief is going to come from.
We will come from the funding area. The new paradigm in funding is you also have to have your skin in the game, right? So they got something called the matching funds. Okay, the school in your district, you say it's gonna cost $5,000 to build or $10,000. You put up the first $5,000, and we will put up the second $5,000.
Exactly.
It has to be transparent. We want to know where the money is. Then we match it. It finished. That tells you that it's a partnership. You're not just begging. Yeah. The new paradigm is, Brother Namwe, I have done this far. I have come this far. I have done this. I have built a foundation, but I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Can you help me carry the roof level, or can you zing it for me? Can you do the roof? And they say, okay, now you got your skin in the game, so we are going to do it. That's what they call matching fund. We are matching your effort. So those days where you just sat around and people give you part of money, it doesn't work that way anymore.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, and I'm coming back to this honorable representative, I think that's the Beaumont district, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And I heard Dr. Richardson and other people talking the other day. They have so much money, they're trying to find a way to get into Liberia to help. But I think they were looking for some kind of way to legalize, and register whatever. But the point I'm making is there are resources out here. Everything doesn't have to come through the budget. Come out here, meet with your, I think they have Bontown Association or Alumni Association, something like that. These are people, a lot of people here, people with means who can really help. And luckily, most of our problems are not that expensive. It doesn't take a lot to solve some of these problems. So you come out here, these people are having a reunion, you go out there and I mean, since I have never seen one member. Maybe Global Brown may have come to the city. I know my representative Austin Taylor came here. We invited him, but you don't hear how people come here. I know Unico does a lot back home, and so there are people come here now. But when we're having these gatherings, our lawmakers they don't come. Even sometimes you invite them, they don't come. So maybe the honorable needs to think about that. Reach out to some of these people, and nobody says you just take it out of his pocket. There are a lot of people here who want to help. Reach out to them and find a way, collaborate with them, and they can help you. But he has a responsibility to improve the lives of these people. That's why they elected him to represent them. He is their voice to, the outside world.
Well, this is why you see them, because there's no outsider coming in, there's no new businesses coming in, and to fund their bloated budget, they go around and squeezing money out of the poor folks. But overnight, when nobody listens, they're raising the taxes. But let's look at good news for the government. We not only had to beat up on government, major power grid nearing completion in Lofa County. This is out of Lofa County. And it reads, Vanjima Lofa County, the Rural and Renewable Energy Agency, PREA, is on the cusp of significantly boosting electricity access in Lower Lofa County with its ambitious power generation distribution initiative reaching nearly 99% completion on its initial phase. The PREA announced it has almost finished installing 1.8 megawatt diesel generators, along with diesel transformers and fuel storage system in Bawala Village, just on the outskirts of Benjamin. This marks a critical step toward establishing a robust energy network for the region. The next phase set to begin July 1st, 2025, involve installation of 4 megawatts solar PV module coupled with 9 megawatts of battery energy storage system, BESS, also located on the outskirts of Benjamin. This is a project that was started under the previous administration, and this government continue it, and it's going to be a major boost to the people of Lofa County. And I'm saying here, we are here to say kudos to the government for this major initiative. And for those who think we only here to beat up on government, that's not true. We are here. If it's good, we will say it. This is a great initiative, Mr. Namwe. This is a great initiative.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the agency my friend and brother Samuel Bucket Namwe is running. He's no blood relation, but we're very good friends. We both went to Cotton, and not only that, we hang out a lot when I'm in Monrovia. Even though these days he's not happy because I'm not saying too many good things about the government. He's an avid supporter of the government. I give him that. But notwithstanding, I'm really proud of what he's doing because we're friends. I follow most of his stuff. He is out there really trying to move the things. Yes, some of the stuff were started by the former government and he's completing it, but I think he's also going out there and adding on to what they're doing. I know he was recently, I think, in India, and I was thinking he was in China, in the Far East. So he seems to be doing a lot of good things. And yes, I think commendations are in order for him. I hope to God that he continues to deliver for our people. But yes, he was in the I was in the Lofa area. I saw some of the postings from there. I think he may have also gone to the southeast, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, you're right. If something good is happening, I think we should highlight it. So, as Bokeh, I know you want me to take my name from your mouth, but congratulations there. You're doing great. Scorpion Nation, we're very proud of what he's doing. So yeah, keep up the good work, brother.
Well, we got to invite him to come on here and tell us the good news. He said, because he is doing a great job. I don't know who he is, but by evidence of what I'm reading here,
Yeah.
Obviously he might be a very professional person. That the money that was used from the previous government was not their money; it's the Liberian people's money. So you if it's a good program, they have spent a lot of money on it, you continue it and finish it, and the people will benefit. You're going to get credit. That's how it works. I wish the former government would have gotten the credit, but they didn't finish it.
Yeah.
And he came on and continued it 2 years in. They're done with phase 1. They're about to start phase 2 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And hopefully by
he has been on the road himself. I seen the kind of places. I saw him crossing some bridge the other day. He himself was telling himself, he said, "Lord, I'm crazy doing this," but he was, one of those suspension bridges, like one big log across the water, and you see the water all the way down. You look down, you're gonna, but the people were pushing him. But yeah, so he is pretty handsome. Apparently, he's really, really, he's not sitting in Monrovia. He following through and making sure he's on the spot to actually, make sure to witness the execution of some of these things. So again, I can't say good enough about my friend and brother. I think he's doing a wonderful job over there.
Great. Now, let's get to current event here. It said top UP lawmakers lawmaker lead senators in condemning the executive over clandestine GTMS CTN deal and refusal to seek ratification. The government yesterday, Mr. Namwe, you were here, and I gave the Charles Taylor story of the 3 cows. The black cow, the red cow, and the white cow. And the lion said, "Mr. White Cow, I'm hungry. I want to eat. I left red cow. Let me eat the red cow." He said, "Go ahead, eat the red cow, no problem." He went and ate the red cow. A week later, he came back and said, "My man, that one ate gone."
I'm laughing because I've never seen a red cow in my life. But go ahead.
So he said, "But what happened to the black and the white cow?" He said, "Man, you really hungry?" He said, "Go and eat it." Then we little man kids on man, Robert, it looked like I gotta eat you. And man said, "My man, I been good to you all this." Man, you sure I know. I've been eating a lot of your. So I told the guy yesterday, he was praising Joseph Boyka. I said, if Joseph Boyka succeed in bypassing the legislature and taking over Noka, it's gonna happen sooner or later. And guess what? While we were talking,
yeah,
Joseph Boyka had bypassed the legislature again. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance, Prince Myean, has condemned the executive branch for renegotiating the controversial global tracking and maritime solution and cargo tracking note contract without the knowledge, involvement, and ratification of by the legislature. Joseph Boyka has become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. He didn't even mention it. He just went renegotiated whatever he wanted to renegotiate, sign it, and he put it in effect.
But not only that, Jerome, the reporting is that he was totally opposed to this very deal that
during the Weah administration time, during the campaign.
Exactly. He opposed it. And this is becoming a really troubling pattern on the part of the government. When the Nimba Legislative Caucus raised this, Musa Ability and later on Senator Yatwine and other people, they jumped on it. A lot of people they thought with making this stuff up. But like you said, I think what the last time we popularized that phrase, town try is not for right alone. I think that's what he used to say. So yeah, when it's happening to the red cow, you want to pay attention because when the red cow runs out, the black cow is going to be eventually. So yeah, this president went to renegotiate with Solomon without involving some of the stakeholders.
No.
when in the race line, I read somewhere today. I saw the headline. I didn't read the whole story, but apparently now they are pledging some $4 million yearly. I think I hope it is for NIMBA now, based on the alarm that has been raised. But I listened to the Senator 20. There are a lot of benchmarks that are built into the Asalametel agreement, including the employment of Liberians at certain level, at each of the levels going up to the I think the second most powerful level, scholarships for training, all these kind of things. These people have failed to do these things, and yet they continue to loot and take our resources. And the president gets up to go and negotiate with these people. He's leaving out all the stakeholders pretty much, And now, his own UP lawmaker is raising the alarm. Yeah, I read the story. GTMS and the CTN, cargo trucking note or whatever they call it. Apparently, the president, what he opposed before, he's going ahead to renew it without sending it to the legislature for ratification. The mayor is saying nobody knows what's in it for Liberia. Nobody knows what's in it because nobody has seen it. How can this president operate like this? And you're right. We were saying this on the show when Mr. Watkins was here, and we were raising this issue with the president, giving out the full black wars and all of that. Without involvement of without going through the due process. This government seems to have a problem with due process. There's the CCPP, and then there's also the Investment Commission. How do you just get out and say take full oil well? How does that happen? Same thing with the yellow machine. There is a process for going out and acquiring these things. We have the institutions here. Put it through the process because we want to make sure we apply, the transparency, to put a mechanism in place to stamp out all of the corruption. Where did the machine start from what, 70 million? I think they finally came to 22 million or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. That's because they didn't put it through the appropriate process. Had they done that, we don't have how others, even then, nobody knows where the yellow machines are. So yes, the senator is raising an issue that other people have raised in several different instances. And I don't know what they're going to do, but this government really needs to come back on track. They're going way off track, How do you go to negotiate these major contracts, major agreements? It is the responsibility of the legislature to ratify these agreements. You cannot negotiate these things to their exclusion and expect to execute them. How does that work? I don't understand that.
Well, it says that the Unity Party lawmakers said the deal was revised in secrecy, in disregard of the constitutional protocols and the previous recommendation issued by the Senate following its own probe into the original agreement. This government, the Unity Party Senate, this particular Senate, they went and probed and said, this is what we saw, these are the recommendations. He ignored his own Senate recommendation and negotiated in secrecy what he thought was good and signed it and make it operational. In a real Western, in real democracy, this is an impeachable offense. This is criminal.
Yeah.
This is ground for impeachment and removal because it's not done once, twice. This is the third time this is happening.
That we know of. I'm sure there are others that
there are others. If the guy didn't dig it up and bring it, but this is what it is. Now let's go to the hottest topic in Liberia. It says that discretion or denial of rights. George Willie withholds approval of bond for Capitol building arson defendants. The criminal court aide, George Roosevelt Willie, is yet to approve the criminal appearance bond submitted on behalf of Tom Edrich and several court defendants accused of setting fire to the Capitol building. And it go on to read. It can be recalled that Edrich and others were arrested, detained, and forwarded to court following the alleged involvement in the arson incident. Initially held at the Monroe Prison, Central Prison, the defendants were then moved, later on transferred to Kakata Central Prison. The arrest coincided with the police investigation involving the former Speaker Kofa and Representative Abu Kamara, Jacob Debbie, and Dixon Sibo On Tuesday, the defendant filed a consolidated criminal appearance bond on behalf of all the accused in accordance with the Liberian law. However, Judge Willie isn't yet to approve the bond, effectively prolonging the detention of the individuals and the defendant, despite what legal experts describe as presentation of sufficient bond or surety. Article 21I of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia states, all accused persons shall be bailable upon sufficient surety. The judge in action has triggered constitutional concerns, with legal analysts and human rights advocates questioning whether the delay stems from judicial discretion or constitute a denial of due process and the fundamentals to bail. Namwe, this is what we are talking about. You Liberians that keep backing the system, how do you expect an investor to come to Liberia when the court doesn't work? The Constitution said this is a billable offense.
Yeah.
The people got the bill. They got the bill. The bonds is ready. Everything checked out. And the judge decides he won't even touch it. Violating their rights. Isn't this what we are talking about when they say the judiciary have been politicized and been weaponized against anybody who they don't like?
Yeah, I think it is the late Chipo, my former PVP brother, and I think he popularized the phrase "justice delayed is justice denied." This case, seems to be suffering intentional delays ever since its inception. We all remember the former speaker and the other, I think, 4 or so lawmakers. They were invited, I think, at 10 in the morning on a Friday, last Friday, I believe it was. And they were intentionally delayed. I don't care whatever the reasons were. I think this case was such magnitude that it should have superseded almost everything else. So whatever the excuse was, I'm not going to buy it. They let him sit until all the courts closed and they couldn't post bond, and they ended up spending the weekend in jail. Totally unnecessary. That's a weaponization of the justice, of the police, of the justice system, whatever that is. From the face of it, it seems this is what this judge is also doing. I read a piece. Apparently, this bond has been submitted at least more than twice, according to the reporting.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything about it. He hasn't denied it. He hasn't approved it. But the result of that is that these people are languishing when they should be coming out and going home and coming to court, spending the weekend or spending the night with their families and all of that. And I'm glad the press is picking it up. I hope he's going to get up and get it. He should either deny the bond and provide justification, or grant the people their bail and let them go home and be released to the reconnaissance of their lawyers or whoever it is. But I think it's unfair that he's sitting on the bond, not saying anything about it. If there's something wrong with it, I think he should say so. Otherwise, then he should grant the people their bail. But he doesn't have the right, the authority to do what he's doing. I don't care who he is. He's not God. He has to apply the law. Tell the bond, if the bond is defective, tell them and they go and fix it. But you can't sit down on it, you leave it there, you go drink your club beer, you can't sit down, you look at it again, you put it down. Then you go eat your dumbo, you come back, you look at it again, you put it down. Then you go eat your checker, you come back, you put it down, then you look at it. I think it's unfair. And I think he should get off his rear end and do something about it. Either grant these people their bill, give them and let them go, or deny it and let them go and fix what needs to be fixed. But send it to him more than twice, not saying anything about it and not doing anything about it, I think that in itself is tantamount to incarcerating these people unnecessarily.
Well, this is what we are talking about when they say in Liberia, every time you talk to the corrupt folks, they will say Liberia is the land of law and not men. Everybody says this. This is the country of rule of law and not of men. They all say this. But then when you look at what they are doing, it is not a rule of law. It is a country of men, strong men. Now, let's look at this one. I think I picked this one because I know you're going to love this. It says the Press Union of Liberia commends human rights lawyer Gongloe for thought-provoking letter, reflection on Arbor Port and the April 14, 1979 rice riot. And it reads, the Press Union of Liberia, PUL, has acknowledged and commended renowned human rights lawyer and statesman, Councillor Tiawan S. Gongloe, for his open letter from in which he revisits the pivotal movement in Liberia political history through the lens of the late Arbor Port's seminal article, The Day Monrovia Stood Still. And I wanted to bring this up because I know it said 1979 rice riot, and it said the letter described by the PUL as thought-provoking and timely, critiques the persistent abuse of political power in Liberia and draws sobering parallels between past and present governance failure. Councillor Gongloe shared the article alongside his reflection to raise awareness about the enduring threat posed by what he termed the arrogance of power.
See what you've done, Jerome? You brought a letter out. It brought all the big people on set.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Peabody.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been driving. I just came home.
How you doing? Yeah, look. Welcome back. The only problem I had, Jerome, I spent quite a bit on it. I hope Kehleboe is here if he has that letter. I haven't seen the letter itself. I looked for it. I couldn't find the letter as I read the reporting on the letter. But I think he was describing what he called the arrogance of power, you know. The tendency on the part of this government to always set aside the right thing and instead choose to do the wrong thing only because they can, if they have the power. I think he thinks that is arrogant, and I absolutely agree with him. I mean, the instances that we can cite abound, you know, from this nonsense with the Capitol building thing where the president decided he was going to go the way he wanted to go, even though the law says otherwise, and the Supreme Court says otherwise, you know, the removal of tenure people when they know they shouldn't be removing them, but they said they will because they can. So I agree with TSG, you know, my brother-in-law, and even though, you know, he didn't do too well, just like they call the 1%ers. But he is a voice of reason in the community, and I respect him for that. He doesn't care which side it falls on. Once it is right, he's going to call it like he sees it, and I have a lot of respect for him for that. But I'm waiting. I want to read the entirety of the letter. But yes, I read the reporting, and I think it's very good that, you know, he's adding his voice. You know, I mean, not adding his voice, but he reiterating, because he's made several calls on the part of this government, in spite of the fact that his vice president is a part of this government, Dr. Nyenwolo. But, you know, that's who he is. Stand-up guy. He knows what's right. He knows what's wrong. And when it is wrong, he will tell you it is. And I think that's what his letter is about. Every once in a while, he releases these cautionary notes to the government. You know, do they pay? Do they pay attention? Do they take it? I don't know. But yes, I think it's one of those. I don't know what the occasion is, but you know, kudos to him, Councillor Gongloe, for that. I hope that Kehleboe is listening. You know, let him forward the letter. Let's read it. I wanted to see the entirety of the letter itself.
Great. Dr. Peabody, welcome. I know this is a very busy weekend for all you guys up there, graduation everywhere. People are graduating, daughters, sons, people are graduating. You guys are pretty much busy. How you doing there, Doc?
Yeah, been a little busy here, honoring other people invite and stuff like that. You know, but it's good to be here. I saw you, and I try to follow the show. I'm like, you know what? Let me just hop on and you know, so the gentleman can't just be by themselves. Let me hop on and just see it through until we leave. But it's good to be here, man. It's good to see all of you guys. Good to see you.
Excellent,
Thank
excellent.
you. Thank you. We just here with the children just playing around, but we try not to spoil, not to touch anything we're not supposed to touch.
Yeah.
We don't want to break anything. But congratulations to you. I know Chief Tomalin is also celebrating. All of you guys.
Yeah, Sylvester.
I think he was saying Sylvester is also but I think Sylvester is also celebrating, as you were about to say. Yeah, congratulations to all of you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a prideful moment for us parents, when the kids are doing well. So congratulations to all of them.
Yeah, and congratulations to Grace. Grace got
Yes.
I think she completed her certification today.
Labor law, I believe it is.
Yeah, labor law and something in HR.
Ooh, Grace are already blowing her top. I don't even know now. Anybody can pull forth.
Tonight I'm going to be on with her, and I got.
So you're going to join them tonight?
I'm going to join her tonight.
Yeah, I think I should have on Tuesday. I missed it anyway. But good luck to you. I know you have a great time.
Yes.
But yes, congratulations to Grace as well.
I'm going to send her all of it. Yes, but the letter read, our poor day Monrovia Stew Still, written in May 1979.
My phone went, my battery went dead. Sorry, I just plucked it. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. It says, our post the day Monrovia Stew Still, written in 1979, offers a first-hand account of the April 14, 1979 rice riot. It chronicles how protests over a proposed increase in the price of a 30 kg bag of rice turned violent, leading to deaths and the destruction of property worth millions. Port, a towering figure in Liberia journalism and civil activism, held the government accountable for failing to take responsible preventative measures that could have averted the tragedy. In his letter, Councillor Gongloe emphasized the continuing relevance of Port's message. The existence of the arrogance of power is a threat to peace and the maintenance of stable social order in any nation, he wrote. From recent and current actions of political actors, the failures of reason to prevail in critical times in Liberia still continues. He added, generally, what was wrong yesterday is wrong today and may be wrong tomorrow. Mr. Nyenwolo, this young man has been around for a little while. He has seen this thing. He has seen this movie before. And I think he can relate to how the movie usually ends.
Yeah, I think Councillor Gongloe is. He not only see being around, not only is he a lawyer, but I think he pays a lot of attention to history. History informs the now and the future. We are guided by history. He's right. There are a lot of attempted interventions made by several people, including the late Albert Port, in trying to reach what the business people call a sweet spot. When you have two opposing sides, you try to bring them together. You bring them to that spot where both sides will go away happy. That's a sweet spot. I think he tried to do that between the Progressive Alliance of Liberia and the TWP government. He was very actively involved in trying to negotiate between, the leadership, Matthews, and the former president Torgbean. Of course, the former president himself, he was beleaguered. He was besieged. He had a I don't want to say rebellious, but he had a TWP hierarchy on his hands that really were contesting his capacity, to lead almost at all levels, and that made his ability to negotiate, I think, very difficult. So there he was, trying to demonstrate to them that he was capable of containing Matthews and the other guys, and yet Matthews and the other guys were there telling the president, Mr. President, if you don't listen to us, we will make this place ungovernable for you, and you will give you the most difficult. So he was in a very difficult spot. And here comes Albert Port and other people. The late George D. Bryant, other people got involved, if I'm not mistaken, to negotiate and find that sweet spot and amicable, coming together and resolution. But that didn't happen. And our port believe the president, whether he was arrogant about it or he just didn't have the capacity because of the forces that were aligned behind him from the TWP side. But it became difficult for him to make concessions. The Matthews, I'm sure you may have read this, General. The guys did not intend to go out in the streets on that Saturday. They had already decided to call the thing off. We said that over and over. Those who will believe it will believe it. Those who will not will choose otherwise. And this is one of the reasons why I'm sitting here today. And I told this to my FOL friend, and I told anywhere I go, I just want to tell our story. Let our people understand. They didn't intend to go out. But those days we didn't have we have TV and 24-hour now. ELBC and EAW about 11:30, those stations are out. You have nowhere else to go and broadcast until, I think 5 o'clock in the morning when they come out or something like that. So the guys did not have that opportunity to go out and tell their people, say, look, we're not going to go out in the street. The only other option they had was to assemble in the morning at the headquarters and tell our guys to go home. But before they could get there, the army people and the security people were already there. And that's how this whole thing went. But Albert Port was in the middle of all this. Kehleboe Gongloe is correct. He tried to make the president to see reason, to even understand after he had gotten the concession from Guar Matthews, and the rest of them, to tell the president that, look, we can hold on and so. And so apparently he didn't get the president to agree to what the guys were proposing. And then this is where we are today. Like he said, so many lives lost, so much property damaged. And a lot of people argue that this is the beginning. That was the beginning of what has happened to Liberia over the years, for whatever it is. But this is where we are. And it happens. When arrogance gets in the way, it is very difficult for reason to prevail. And we're seeing signs of arrogance coming from this current government, this government of Joseph Nyema Boaka. There is a great deal of arrogance. They go and put up class reloaded, that bullshit, excuse my French. Mm-hmm. They're over there kissing each other, and kissing each other on the jaw and all of that. Do they really believe this is what is going to help them? They go there and they high-fiving each other, Who is really going to call anybody out on our show? And they believe this is what they need to help them out of where they are. There's a lot of arrogance that has been displayed by this government. They have to be very careful. This government, may I remind in this country, the election that decided this president, the Liberian people were evenly divided. The difference between he and Judge Ware is less than 20,000 votes. He has to remember that. He's presiding over the divided country, and they're acting like they got a mandate. They're acting like they won by 70%, 75%. No, you won by less than 2%. And they call coming the 1%er. They are also a 1%er. Maybe they forgot that. The difference that separated here and we are less than 2%. So yeah, I think it's a good call by the councillor to remind them, they have to be careful. There is a great deal of arrogance that's been displayed by this government. It is a fact.
The April 14th protest organized by the Progressive Alliance of Liberia Power under the leadership of Gabriel Bacchus Matthew was sparked by a controversial rise in rice prices and the government insistence on permits for peaceful demonstration. Despite constitutional protection for the right to assemble, the protest divulged into chaos after security forces cracked down, resulting in widespread casualties and damage. In recognition of the article's historical importance and Councillor Gongloe's effort to promote critical reflection, the PUL have posted the full text of the day Memorial Tuesday on its bulletin board for public access. So there you go, Mr. Namwe. The text is so important to history that they have decided to put it on their page for the public to access it. PUL President Julius Kanumba praised Councillor Gongloe initiative, saying, "We applaud Councillor Gongloe for reigniting the national conversation about accountability, civic responsibility, and the role of memory in shaping Liberia's future. Councillor Gongloe, a lifelong advocate for press freedom and the rule of law, also served as a panelist at this year's World Press Freedom Day, hosted by the PUL. During the event, he spoke on the theme, sustaining independent journalism and press freedom in a digital age, highlighting the media's role in crystallizing social transformation. Journalists have an important role to play in spearheading the social transformation of society by creating awareness about the virtue and vices the public needs to know, he said in his letter, by informing people about good actions that have contributed to national progress. They are inspired to do good. Conversely, exposing harmful action that can be deterred or similar mistakes, the result is likely to be sustained only by peace and progress. This is the voice of Councillor Gongloe. He sees the mistakes after mistakes from the past, from the Doe regime, from the Taylor regime. And here we are today, Joseph Boakai, that was a member of the Doe regime, who was a member of that club, is doing exactly what Councillor Gongloe is saying. You are against the press. You are against the rule of law. You are circumventing the system. You are signing contractual agreement. You are running the country by fiat. He says this is a dangerous track. Dr. Peabody, your take.
Look, Mr. Gill, man, we all know this from day one. Look, I always gave President Boakai a mark. He probably have Liberia at heart, but his ability, he's just not physically fit to really get out there and do what he wants to do. He's old. I don't believe half of the thing that happened in the Gulf that he's even aware of them. He just go to just tell him and he said, okay, I'll do this. He's old. He can't leave the country. But there's a man who championed transparency, who championed corruption free. His chairman, the chairman of his party could not even answer the question when they asked him whether the government was corrupt on a on an interview the other day. They asked him, is your government corrupt? He couldn't answer those questions. The fact is, but President Boakai have lost touch with what's going on in the country, in his own government. He's no more it's on top of those things, on top of the agendas and top of things going on. I think that he just probably joined his retirement age. You know, Liberia awarded him a very lucrative retirement package by making him president of Liberia. But we all knew from day one, hey, if we had a younger Joseph Boakai, a 70-year-old Boakai, we know that Liberia would have been he would have been tough. But right now, it's not President Boakai running it. It's just all those cronies around him who had the feel how to do it. You saw how there's a man who talk about the rule of law and all of that. The highest court of the land, you disregarded every rule, every something that came out where you disregarded them. Even when it sent people back and say, hey, these people there are 10 new people, put them back to job, you fire them the next day. You know, so we have a problem in that country, guys. The fact here is, even the justice system, they are regime justice system. They are regime. Judges are regime judges. They run on what the president wanted to see happen, and that's what they would do. Look at the nonsense that took place last week. You arrested people and tell them come to the court at 11 o'clock. You keep them there until 4 o'clock just so they could go to jail. Isn't that an abuse of their rights? That's an abuse, you know? And they didn't do anything about it. They sat on there and people cheer people in this government. We have seen a lot of flaws in this government. But what have people done? President Boakai have not said anything. He's done nothing. When the Supreme Court ruled, what did Boakai say? Oh, we'll work with both sides. We'll work with the majority black. Supreme Court still said what it said was wrong. Oh, we'll work with both sides. You who people claim Benny government 50 years or 40 years, and you know all about government, you'll be the only person to carry Liberia. Is this where we find ourselves? Now you got concession, you got new agreement coming on and bypassing the legislature, and you're moving on. Is this? I still don't want to believe President Boakai is in touch with what happened with his government. He just want to tell him, okay, you'll try and do this, it'll be all right, and that's all going on. But he really don't have any touch again in his government, you know. And it happens, you know. We all get to a certain age and certain things that we were really strong about doing. We can't do it no more because we have gotten up there. Aging play a major part of some of the things. I think aging has really creeped on President Barker. He doesn't know what's going on. Anything to tell him, oh, you gotta do this one, you gotta do that one, you gotta do that one. That's why we see people all over making decisions who are not, like somebody who's not in a position. It's a misplace of responsibility here. Because anybody just kind of what to think, and that's why they put up there. And President Barker agreed. It's sad for our country, and I applaud guys like Kehleboe Gongloe, them who have stayed around and try to speak about the truth. The rule of law and all of that. But Liberian people don't like people like that. Our country our people love people who make fool out of them. And that's why we see what's going on. But it's hard to even get fair justice in our country again. Our legal system now is very, very weak because the executive have taken over. They got regime churches now. The Liberia Council churches have become regime church. And everywhere now is regime. They all there to please the president. Once the president says this, they all go by. So the law is very much in the back end. That's why you see all the problem in our country today. So.
But, if I may just the point that Dr. Peabody is making, we make it a lot, but I don't think we allow its significance to register that this president, that he is not in charge of what is happening in his government. Look, we have heard this president make pronouncements publicly. I have sat with this president at least twice. The last time I sat down with him was in April when I was in Monrovia for over 1 hour. There were less than maybe 5 of us in the room. Very personal, very, very intimate setting. The president has very good intentions. The things he's talking about. And this was on the eve of the Supreme Court coming to make the April 23rd clarification on the Bill of Information. I left that room. I sat down with you guys on the show and I said, look, the way the president spoke, I have reasons now. I'm convinced this is what he's going to do. He had said they were tired with this, how this was embarrassing the country, all the good things. And then the Bill of Information comes out. First of all, it takes over 24 hours. He says nothing. And that's probably because, his handlers were combating, fighting which way the president should go. And apparently those who wanted him to go with a regime speaker like Dr. Peabody is saying, they won over. But it is a real fact. I think he's not in charge. Because personally, it looks like he really means well. He says good things, but then when he acts, you find he's acting in the opposite direction. And this is really good reason for concern. Is our president really in charge? Is he running the show? I don't think so.
I want to push back on that because if you go back to Joseph Boakai's entire career, there have not been one position that has held that gave you the semblance of a good leader. None. Look at his legacy. He has worked in almost every part of this government. And this is why the old folks say age come with wisdom or it come by itself. I think Joseph Boakai came by himself. He didn't, the wisdom didn't come with the age. That age is there. And listen to what Barack Obama says. If you actually want to know the character of a man, give him power. If you really want to know what the person is, give them power. Forget about what they say. What he says, like a snake oil salesman tells you, he tells you that this oil, when you rub it, it's going to heal you and all that other stuff. You go and buy it, and you go home. If you find out it's just a regular Middle Sudan oil, and he had you. And you sit there, you say, man, this guy who told me all the great stuff. You want to know Joseph Boakai for who he is? They said, give him power. And who said it? Bromskin said it. Bromskin said, this man is a terrible human being. His character is deplorable. He says, don't let Joseph Boakai fool you that he's poor. He said Joseph Boakai made $3 million while in the COVID area, while the entire Lofa County, the University of Lofa County, had like $1.2 million. And he made $3 million himself. during the COVID time. Multiply that by the 12 years that he was vice president. Minimum $36 million he made in 12 years. So you want to know who this man is? Gave him power. We have given Joseph Boakai power, and look what he did. I think Costa said it to the man. This man is a tribalist. He has a character that is irredeemable. And we laughed. And Martin Cully, one of his nephews, says it. The top 18 positions in Boakai government, 14 went to Lofa County. So how you going to tell me he's not in charge? Let's go back to Barack. You really want to know the true character of a man, gave him power, and all of the evil, whatever it is in him, will come out. And now we are giving him a free pass and saying, oh, the people around him. And no. Joseph Boakai knows what he's doing. He hired these people. They work at the will and pleasure of the president. When he wants to do something, he can do it. He stood there without reading. He says, the people that burned this Capitol building, they are hooligans. We know who they are, and we'll bring them to book. And that's what they are doing today. So this man, nobody should give him a pass. He knows what he's doing. When you look at a contract like this, where you say, when I get elected, all the contract will be terminated at the port. It has to be negotiated on behalf of the Liberian people. It has to be transparent. It has to be people friendly. And then overnight, while they are arresting people, you raise taxes on the people, and you go ahead and negotiate a contract suddenly, sign it, and make it operational without the ratification required by the Constitution and the legislature. And people say, this man doesn't know what he's doing. No.
Well, he's just out of touch. That's always a good man. He's out of touch.
That's weakness.
He's out of touch. He doesn't care.
That's weakness.
We talk about all the position in government. This man in the past. I remember when I was on the phone, I asked him. I said, "Are you a travelist?" And he said, "No, I'm not a travelist." People who've been around here, if you listen to or read his inauguration speech, that was a time where you should unite all Liberians. All Liberians, you had that. But he was back there again. If you listen before he got that heat stroke, he was going back to all this tribalistic stuff that what he was talking. And he proved it to us when he took over. He put key financial institutions. He put relatives. He put tribesmen, clansmen, all of them in these places. The central bank, the finance ministry, the LRA, internal affairs. We can go on naming. He put his key folks in there. That's what he wanted to do. Because he had always dwelt on the past. He took over as a leader to unite the Liberian. He always dwelt on the past. The Congo country thing been over more than 30, 40 years ago, but he's still going back and bringing this thing in. And the thing that tore our country, divided our country, civil war, and you're still going back and still bringing those things. Most of the people that you probably were fighting those things with, they're all dead and gone. So who you bringing it on? But he's not a leader who with a vision. He just came up there to, he doesn't have a vision for that country. That woman don't know what's going on. What major president had even visited President Boakai in Liberia since he took over? Besides Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone president visiting, what major world leader have gone to Liberia? To say that President Boakai recognized on the international scene, he nothing. He got no link.
The people, this president almost died at the airport 2 weeks or so ago.
Yeah,
he has done nothing about it.
Nothing. He had not even said
nothing.
Yep. The men were lying. They were saying this. They made up different stories. And you at the head, you not even speak to the country. And for things like that, you frown on President Weah. But since you took over, you have not had a major press conference saying, let me sit down with the press and talk. Nothing. But they were talking to Weah. Weah can't have press conference. Weah can't do this. Weah can't do that.
I expect you to come in the car reloading anytime
He
soon.
probably will, because that's this is for them. They justify how much money they can steal, how much money everybody steal, and all of that. They go there, and that only place they can lie about the development, and nobody will question them. That's why they're there. They won't go on. They won't come on close and argument. They won't go other places. The only place they can go to justify how many rules. The other day, the public works minister was there, blatantly lying about this other rule, about this other thing, about the other thing, the other rules, or NIMA, or the other money Parker rules. So lie. The guy just said that they went on talking, and that's the problem we have. But I think the almost other touch. He completely other touch, because the way a man who been in government 40, 50 years, and to sit there and ignore court ruling on certain things, it just tells you that Liberia is really retrogressing. That what is doing under his leadership. You can't even make fun of the president no more, because you guys are even doing the worst things. You point finger at president. We are old president. We don't do that. Parker, you who know about government, you who got all the experience and got everything. Why you can't sit in front of the press one day for at least an hour or 2 hours and let journalists from all over the world ask you a question? They can't do it. When he come on, they force the people there to ask one question, but I think he answered them, he gone. You see?
The president had a major mishap at the international airport.
Yeah.
He never mentioned it once.
No.
He will not even fire people.
No.
Can you imagine the airport? The airport went black, dark. And they insulted, not my intelligence, because I knew they were lying. Said some bird from Firestone, it might have been some bird, the Maba people bird, the Maba bird came and cut the light off, and those people sat in the Senate and said something like that, and those guys in the Senate agreed that the Maba people bird, the Bassa people bird came over there. That bird that been there for what 2,000, 3,000 years came over there and cut the lights off. That's what the place was dark. And the people said, "Yeah, y'all go drive the bird." Where the bird came from? Some dumb part. They said some dumb part somewhere. What kind of bird is that?
Yeah.
The memes were all over the place. You see birds. The memes were. Everywhere you turn, there was some kind of bird with guitar, birds with peace. You name it. They had a great time. This bird might be very powerful to come and sit on the transformer, cut the electrical wire, or turn the light. And they really thought Liberian people should believe that the bird did it. Now this time around, it wasn't a bird. But what they did was they just left it alone. Don't discuss it. Because if you do, once you open the door, the bird thing is going to come out. So just leave it as is. This is what happened. Our president, the nation would have been mourning by now. And you think by now they would have come up with a comprehensive plan as to how finally we can address this issue. Instead, it went dark just like everything else. They move on to something else, another distraction. Arresting people all over the place. We heard that in Monrovia now they got unmarked black cars going from house to house. Those they don't want, they don't like, they will arrest you. This other young man was in Bacchus or something. They went to LPFC or something like that, LPRC, I think it's the oil place. They show up, they say they are detective, they are NSA people, plain clothes, came and grabbed somebody from his workplace. No identification, nothing. They just keep talking him away. Unbelievable. This is the Liberia you are in.
It's sad, though. It's very, very sad.
It is very, very sad. But let's go to the final topic here. They said the Women Legislative Caucus backed the vice chair and made capital arson allegations. The vice chair is Honorable Priscilla Cooper. You think that she's been charged and she's going to court, you think they will tell her, say, you are suspended until, you can clear your name. Instead, they are backing her and saying, even though she's charged, She will still remain the chair and everything else. This is the Women's Caucus. We were just talking the other day about another woman from Wapolu, whose district, whose county, electricity is now 45 cents per kilowatts. This is the meat selling woman, the woman who was selling dry meat. That I'm sure the doctor himself here, Dr. Peabody, we all were joyous. But an Irish person, a poor woman, is going to make it to the Senate. She will be an advocate for women.
Botokane is her name.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Botokana went in there and she joined Dara Dillon. They're driving a big car. I don't even think she even goes back to Bapolu. Today, because this woman belongs to their caucus, because she's part of the Unity Party system, they are telling her she should remain the vice chair. They have confidence in her. Dr. Peabody, you were talking about the country is retrograde. So you use that word because what we are saying here is in any civilized place, they will say, we understand, we like you, but you are in a court system, clear your name, come back, and your job is here. But until then, we will ask you to step aside, let your assistant take over. These folks are saying no.
Yep.
She will retain her job against all odds. What is it? What a man does or what men do, women do better. You talk about corruption? Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
You think men are corrupt? Yeah, it is. For those of us who are advocates for women and saying, you put some women over there and they will change everything because they are critical thinkers. This is how this other woman, called Honorable Ellen Ator-Red, chairperson, Women's Caucus, back her assistant, Honorable Vice Chair for National Affairs Women's Caucus, Honorable Priscilla Cooper. So now here we are. We are hands in hands supporting each other here. But Nambe, it looks like we're being hit. The young folks are as corrupt. When Dr. Peabody goes online and says something about anybody, that person will buy a scratch car, get them a few dollars, say, order you come on and insult Dr. Peabody. If Victor says something that they don't like, he goes out. How the young man call them from? They call them, how they call that? The regime squad or regime defenders or something like that. They had a special budget in the Ministry of Information.
Right.
They had a special budget for the regime rescue defenders. Young men all over the place. They hire them. Your job is to go on the internet. Anybody that says anything negative about the government, you insult them and they come over. Mr. Namwe, this is getting scary. The women now have gotten involved. The churches have gotten involved. The mosques have gotten involved. Now the women they have taken center stage.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is the nature of the beast, the legislature. Apparently, the people in there, they are untouchables. They feel they can do whatever they want. And again, this is why, we're joining our voice with the voice of Honorable Musa Asambeleji and others, and calling for an audit of the legislature. I think these people have gone rogue at the legislature, and seriously, they have left the reservation. We got to bring them back to base. They are far going away from us. There's a lot happening over there. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I haven't read the story, but I think I just forgot when I didn't congratulate this lady, because I think she has been a part of the rule of law caucus, and here we are, even her deputy, I think if it is not Cooper, is also a part of the rule of law caucus. So if the story that you're talking about is true, I think this should be made to account. I don't understand what's happening, except that there is a culture at the legislature. There is a culture of entitlement, and a culture of feeling untouchable. And for good reasons, they have been untouchable. But I think we really need to focus and shine a light on this legislature. And I think they have to understand they represent us. They have to understand that they are there to represent us and not the other way around. But I think they have really lost. I think they've lost their purpose. I think they have lost the reason for their being at the legislature, and I think we have to bring them back home. That's all I would say for them.
I mean, the thing is, Mr. Language said that they have to represent us. No, they have to represent themselves. Because you see what they're doing for themselves. They are really enriching themselves. So they are representing themselves and representing themselves very well. They represent very well. So they're not there to represent.
Dr. Peabody, this is what it says. In a statement issued Thursday, June 12th, yesterday, the WLCL emphasized a belief in the legal principles of presumption of innocence and urged the public to allow due process to take its course without prejudice or interference. The group also called for a speedy, transparent, impartial adjudication of the case in line with the law and the Constitutional Republic of Liberia. The Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia remains steadfast in our commitment to the principles of innocence until proven guilty, and urge the public to respect the integrity of the judicial process. You talk about, Dr. Peabody, we're talking about, look what I was talking, this is what I was talking about with Victor Nambe. When people read something or write something and say something and do something totally different, these people are talking about the transparency and the impartial adjudication of law, the principles of presumption of innocence until proven guilty. But you got people, you arresting them, putting them in jail. The young man have been in jail for what? 4 months. He got his bill already, and the judge unilaterally denied the man his bill.
Yeah.
Legal bill, legitimate bill. Right. The Judge Willie, unilaterally denied the man bill, even though he met all the requirements. And they are talking about the presumption of innocence until proven guilty. Who are they kidding here, Dr. Peabody? This one is, I know you are a man of the cross. You have to be nice. You got to be honest.
That's what we're just telling you. You don't have a real, because you have regime judges. So they will tell them, don't free that man. And they're not going to look at it from their own ethical value and look. They're going to look at it from what the president say or what the justice minister tell them. Don't free the man so they go up. That's who they look to. That they look to the president. They look to the government. That's who they look to make that judicial decision instead of them being looking at the proponents of evidence or for the government to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt. They don't do that. They just listen and they close the book and listen to what the executive tell them. That's what you have in that country. Because you see how they violate people's rights in that court, put people in jail for months and years, without even giving them a trial. The law say you keep the man in jail, I think 72 hours, you sort of free him. Do they do that? They don't do nothing. See? So it's hard for you and I to even go to Liberia and have a fair trial. I tell you a story. There's a lady who purchased a house from somebody in Liberia, and these guys were building somewhere on Shuffling Highway. I still remember that story. This lady and her husband all told they had bought a home and they were building a house. They paid the money for the home, went to Liberia, and the guy just, this your house is almost finished. And she said he kept it every time. She took him to court. By the time they sent the sheriff to arrest the guy, somebody from the vehicle had already called the man. He said, you leave. So they come to arrest you, you better go. And the man went. And nothing happened. So it's almost impossible for me, I tell you, to have a fair trial in that country. And that's what we look at, even our House and our Senate. How many people have the Liberian Senate rejected that this man appointed? Since this man appointed people to go there, everybody passed. We saw the story of the foreign minister when she took a mass choir into the Senate there to justify her education, right? At the end of the day, Dylan was grandstanding. At the end of the day, what happened? And she will confirm. We overlooked that. It was not even on the merit system. So what do you have people even going to school in that country when you don't have a merit system? You got a chairman on foreign relations that knows nothing about foreign affairs. He's the one you appoint to be a Senate chairman on foreign relations. He knows nothing out there when it comes to the international world, the diplomatic, and all those things. You put him in charge. You think any serious thing will happen in that country? That's why everybody that nominated to the Senate, they don't even grill these people. That's how you have people sitting on Supreme Court and things like that. They don't grill these people. They just go there. After the regime said, this is the person I want to work with. And that's what happened. So you know what? I caution chairmanability. Don't go that route of trying to order the legislature, because you know what? Political Kofa tried doing that. What happened? They brought arson charges against him. It'll do everything. It'll do everything. When he brought up auditing, what did the executive do? And the executive supported a majority bloc. And that's the kind of country we live in today. So I mean, it's just the same old 6 and 9. I don't think anything will change under this regime until we get a real leader who will really put the feet down and bring in people who are serious to work. Liberians are tired of seeing the same old people from 1965 in government, and I people that brought Harari back in the government. Ambassador Wallace, he's an honorable man, a good patriot, very old. Still be working in government. She should still be working in government. I'm telling you. So I don't expect anything to change. Most of the people Waka brought back, those are people, some retired 15, 20 years ago. He made them chairman of board. He made them director. Any serious leadership he come with, that's why the people didn't even know how to use an email or even text message. Those are the people he put it in making them chairman of board and director and stuff like that. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Talking about the appointment of Mr. Namwe, President Waka appointed my own good friend. He was very nice to me when he was in Washington, D.C. Honorable Charles Manor, 81-year-old. He appointed him as the rice czar. And
then the president appointed Judith Vinton, I think.
Yes.
David Vinton. My friend is Judith. David Vinton.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what's funny? I think a week after the appointment, he released a photo of himself exercising. That was the worst I ever seen him on.
Dr. Peabody, Charles Manor is a very nice man.
Yeah, he is.
But Charles been in government for so long, and in fact, he's going to be 82. Yep. So how are you making rice czar? How? We hungry. There's no food in the country. You made a guy who can barely walk. You made him rice czar. Why he's supposed to go in the farm, go to a different country and look for rice? Yeah. I don't know what the job's supposed to be of rice czar.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, so it means that Liberia don't have any young progressive children who can take this area, because if we have all these young children that in Rwanda, that in London, that everywhere going to school, the kids go back home. So you can't appoint young people. The only people that can run government are old people. Is that what you're saying?
No, not old. You gotta be very old.
Very old. You gotta be very, very old to run government. And I think Liberian people believe it too. Because Liberian people said to be president of Liberia, you gotta be very old. Very old. And that's why
not experience.
Yeah. So it's sad. Child Manor, Reza, David Vinton, Reza, he puts my name on the Central Bank governor. The former ambassador to Saudi Arabia. I think he appointed a man to another position. I mean, what the other guy, David Fahad. David Fahad got another position in that government. Dr. Conte. I think he ambassador to the United States.
Yeah.
He appointed another guy, Conan, Dr. Conan. He's a special envoy to the president. I see him happy trying to walk everywhere, but the bug out go.
My man, Peabody got to stop, man. I beg you. Because Dr. Conan is a very good friend of mine, so but I gotta laugh because
you donated a walker.
Talking about that, I forgot to buy my walker from Grace. You know she's doing a walker King collection.
Yeah. I'll buy mine tonight.
But listen, it's been great being hanging with you guys. Thank you very much, Dr. Peabody, Jerome. Let's do it again.
We got 10 minutes. That's good. Do we have parting comments so you can leave?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Before you close, I wanted to play Pearl Bull Brown video. In Myean over there, I want you to play it. And the fun, look, this woman is something else. My upriver woman in Myean, if you're there and you have that video, please play it before this man leave.
No, what is it? The woman said, I'm not talking, or what is it?
No, that's a new one. She says, it says, what she said. She did not tell me that Tete get better or something. I mean, I was just dying laughing. The woman is a walking encyclopedia of jingle.
Yeah.
Myean, if you have it, play. If not, go ahead, Mr. Nambi.
I will start with my account. You can stop me midway, but great show. Thank you very much. We touched on a number of topics, but I think the apparent pattern on the part of this government, to bypass the institutions that were erected to perform specific functions in government. There's a reason why these are there, because they are the stopgap measures that people put in place. You go and negotiate agreements and you leave out stakeholders, you bypass the legislature that is supposed to rectify this agreement. There's a reason. You are usurping their function. These are three co-equal branches of government. You can't go and negotiate the agreement and then be the same one who will rectify. There's a reason why they're there. And now people are smart. They say two eyes are better than one, right? Sometimes you think everything you're doing is right. And then the other eye comes in and say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe you left out this. And there's a reason for all of that. So I think this habit needs to stop. The president went to a Salamantel. He did not invite some of the stakeholders, including the NIBA Legislative Caucus. Now his own lawmaker of Bon County, Prince Moe, is now alarming that the president may have renegotiated GTMS and CTN to the entire exclusion of the legislature. I mean, what is this?
Right.
What is going on? So I will leave it there, but thank you very much, guys. Great show. Hope we can come here again on Monday and contribute a little to helping our people, understand what's going on with our country.
Thank you, Mr. Nambe. It's always good to see you, man. It's always good to see you.
Same here, and congratulations again to you, Dr. Peabody.
You guys won't be in town next week. We're gonna be having the party. Y'all won't be in town next week. Y'all be in Minnesota. So
nah, look at that.
It's next weekend.
Look at that.
Yeah, next weekend, man.
Oh, but listen, we will zoom in.
Yeah,
I gotta. In fact, I'll carry it live on the Closing Again page tomorrow. I'll try to celebrate with. I will try to make it to Sylvester function tomorrow. Even though I got a whole lot on my plate tomorrow, but I'll try. His daughter graduated too. Ain't having a function tomorrow, so I'll try to go there.
Sylvester Pewee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just a whole lot, but I will try to just pop in here. So I got a long day of driving tomorrow.
Oh man, because I know the chairman, Mr. George. I know his daughter graduated.
His daughter, I gotta go there too tomorrow. So I gotta come from Middletown, Delaware. I will drive from Middletown, Delaware, then into the PA area, and then before I get home. So it's a long day tomorrow. I'm worried about it.
But safe travels. I didn't put out my schedule. I'll be in the PA area tomorrow, but I got a few things happening in Philadelphia. And then there's a demonstration coming on.
Okay.
So I think movement would be a little difficult in the Philadelphia area, but thank you for going in to join them to celebrate, and please convey our, congratulations to them.
All right, Doc. You said,
Doc, we had a great week. Let's do it again next week. It's looking good. So next week we should start off fresh Monday. Liberia, we are never tired of lacking of news.
Yeah.
They deliberately made news to cover the news. So we just got to keep digging and making sure that these things that we pull up today, if we didn't dig them up, they won't talk about it, because that is their strategy. There's a news that is a bad news, they find something else to do to kill that news, so nobody can talk about it. But I'm glad that the closing argument gave us the freedom to do the reporting, to come out here. And for those who think we are, beating on the government, we are telling you, if there are good things happening, like I just pulled up this stuff from Lofa County, okay? Lofa County nearing completion of a power grid. That's good news.
Yeah.
We covered it up.
Yeah.
We covered this because it's good news for the people of Lofa and the people of Liberia. So we are not just here to beat up on the government. We do look, we dig and see. But with this government, it's almost impossible to dig up something that is factual and ready to go, that is not propaganda. This one is not propaganda from what I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we are saying here, if you think we are here because we hate the government, you are wrong. If you think the government doing something nice that is tangible, don't send me press release.
Yeah.
Send me something that is actually benefiting the folks that we can go to and send our reporters, and they go and say, yes, the power generator is there. The last time you said they have water all over the place in Bapulu. We sent people there to go find out it was a vla.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Bro, we understand. We gave credit that this thing started 2020. But the fact that they continue it and trying to finish it is commendable. That's why we say government is continuity. You just got to give credit.
I'll give you 1 second.
Yes, go ahead, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, Ms. William, we said, bro, we said this. This is something that you and I witnessed when they did it, the ribbon cutting, the groundbreaking in Lofa, I think in this place. It worked out very well. Myean, you are muted. We can't hear you. Nope.
Join the legal team for Kofa because they're representing now they are the police station.
That's a damn lie. I was not representing him. I was representing him, the rule of law, and that's why I don't have your girls interview me, because you read, you learn, and you listen, you talk. They say, you say, I say, and I in the say.
But it's the same rule going to continue. Kofa is in it.
Please, if you got some kind of thing against or for Kofa, leave me, or not for me more, you go here, Titi Gabele.
She says, oh, Lord, this woman is something else. But, Doc, thank you very much for being here. I'll see you on Monday. Myean, thank you very much. See you Monday, same time.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much for all you do, man. Thank you for holding it down, Mr. Gilman. You just been awesome on this show. Thank you. Thank you for holding it down.
Thank you.
Myean, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. We'll be in touch with you, okay? I'll be in touch. All right?
Yeah.
Well, your woman told you bag of water, you buy you told and I know that you're moving when they come there now.
I'm very long shit.
The way I was really told you without equal,
But you're
unanimous state. Oh, Maleka to be anonymous state.
That's been a good year. Because me a sensible man. And Myean in America, he had her Doma festival. So she said when they put a corona for the festival, when they go there, they must carry things, you know, for the children then. So I was saying to myself, oh my boss for them. I want to remember the one that now you know one year.
And they say you must carry ate so that water I can afford. That's why I carry the water that lasts.
You know what I mean? We on the roof. You can pack anything and no more than you. You pull up in the tire. Let me explain to you. They won't call me. I won't say that one never explain to you. They won't call me. They won't explain to me already. Dating your tour, that's true. Myean will be having, they get someone they call the hard table festival, Doma festival. The hard table Doma festival. They can have it every year in Myean, America. They can have it every year. So she said she's having it in America. All the people that will be going there. Because the other festival is special. They will be celebrating the 5th year. Because I say 5 years now, they celebrate. So the year they want to celebrate it. So everybody that will be going there to that Doma festival. They're talking about people that we in America. They're talking about you all here in abroad. But if I get a visa to go to America. So they go there who in America. They go there in America. They don't want to carry all those small things to carry the work. They carry it to her for us to use it because she's going to come to Liberia to have the same program here. Now when she's having it here now, all the children that you invite, all the children will be people. So when you get in the coffee book, you carry Torgbean, you carry children clothes, children shoes, you know, small more thing than what children can use. You carry, then she will pack everything and bring it like bro. She share it on the children then.
And you share it free.
She will share it free. No, she will share it free. She said no. She had the other phone carry to her free. That she will go, she will carry like bro. She do all the things. She share it free on the children like bro. She won't help children. She also say you must pack your thing and go carry it. If I carry it, don't
when I do the participation too.
I know.
So other that we buy in anonymous state will be doing it.
The thing it will be happening in Maryland, in America, to Black Hill Regional Park. That it will be happening here. You know, way back when you get on and they call the country code. But the American people, they just change the name now. You know, yeah. So that one body can call it hard table festival. Yeah.
So what you want?
Yeah.
So my people are here there, you're here in America, you're listening to it good. Yeah. Now, what is it?
The date is August 9. Having the hard table festival. Yeah, August 9.
Every after my birthday, yeah. Myean will be having her Doma festival. And in that Doma festival, and then everybody that going there, you're pretty everything to donate to what so that you can come and donate to the children of Liberia. Big yo.
When they come in Liberia, now we're to share things, they will call the children in the boat, they go for boat ride. Small children, they put in, they will take boat ride. They've been doing boat ride, they share the thing on there, that the children will enjoy. I praise them from the test small again.
Yeah, this is the 5-year Doma festival. So we encourage you to keep.
So that yeah. So that go back home now. You carry that thing back home.
Nice, guys. Have a good night, guys. Everybody, thank you for joining us for the on the closing argument tonight. Tonight's Friday. We want to congratulate everybody our young children who graduated and having a celebration this weekend. To the daughter of St. Tomalin George, who graduated from high school. They'll be celebrating tomorrow. To the daughter of Sylvester Pewee, our panelists, too. Tomorrow they'll be having another celebration. And also to Miss Abiba Wither. Congratulations to your son on the graduation. Send us the name, guys, and we'll be delighted to play. Other than that, have a good night. I'm out. Myean, take over from here. End the show. See you again, God's willing. We'll be back here on Sunday for another special edition. Tomalin George will be on with what the Fatika brothers. So have a good night. God bless you, and bye-bye. See you, Myean. So